The constant interference by state governors in the running of local government areas through constant dissolution of elected leaders, despite a Supreme Court judgment, and the diversion of funds meant for them through the state and local government joint account system has not helped matters for the local authorities. Also, the intractable crisis among local governments have seen their umbrella body embroiled in crisis over leadership control of the Association of Local Governments of Nigeria, or Algon. There's now a festering division over who controls the affairs of Algon, as the association is split between the elected national president and chairman of Bariga Local Council Development Area of Lagos State, Kolade Alabi, and the factional interim management committee led by Abdullah Emaji, who is also chairman of Suleja Local Government in Niger State. While Alabi says he was duly elected and sworn in as Algon president, the Maje-led IMC is challenging Alabi for not being the chairman of a constitutionally recognized council as listed in the 1999 Constitution. Alabi says, though Bariga Local Council Development Area is a creation of the Lagos State government, he has the right to head Algon. Both groups now lay claims to the Algon presidency. I'm joined now by officials of Algon to discuss the rift and how it is affecting the running of the local government system in Nigeria. Odunayo Ategbero is the former local government chairman and one-time commissioner in the Ekiti State Executive Council. And Honorable Aminu Muazu Maifata is Algon's deputy national president and chairman of Lafia Local Government Area. Gentlemen, you're welcome to the show.
Thank you very much.
And let me start with you. Honorable Ategbero, you happen to be the secretary of the board of trustees of Algon, chairman board of trustees, so to say, of Algon. You are supposed to provide guidance for this association, exactly. And then we have seen lots of bickering. Why is it difficult for the local government association to actually speak with one voice on this matter and face other issues that you previously had with the governors, which is left behind, and you're fighting yourself at the moment?
Well, to start with, as the chairman board of trustees of Algon, Algon is a properly registered association, with the Corporate Affairs Commission, as per the Company and Land Matters Act of 1999. And 1999, which is 1990 as amended. You see, as far as I'm concerned, as somebody who is a major stakeholder in Algon, there is no crisis in Algon because there is a constitution that guides the operations of Algon. The constitution is clear about who are to be the officers of Algon. And you are talking of the presidency of Algon, which refers to Alabi. Alabi Kolade is an elected local government chairman in Lagos State. Yes, of course, we are talking of Bariga local government, which was properly created, and by the Supreme Court judgment, it is a legal local government.
Well, the other group says it's not listed in the 1999 Constitution.
If it's not listed in the 1999 Constitution, the Constitution of 1999 make provision for creation of additional local governments. Even when you are talking of 774 local government, as of today, do we have 774 local government in Nigeria? No. Bakassi is no more part of Nigeria. It was a local government. So if anybody is talking about 774 local government as if it was sacrosanct, then we are getting it wrong, because the constitution that was handed over to us by the military, had 774 local government. But it is the same constitution that makes provision for creation of local government in Nigeria. And this is exactly what happened. And apart from that, going further from there, in Lagos State, when additional local government were created by the government, elections that were conducted into all those various offices by SEC, which is a body that's the creation of the Constitution of Nigeria too. In other words, in Lagos State, elections were not conducted separately for either SCDA or the local government. They were conducted for the 57 local governments in Lagos.
But when the federal government is actually giving out monies to the local governments in the country, it's only the 20 recognized local governments in Lagos State that receive the money. Well, and so that's why these other groups are saying that it's only those ones that are constitutionally listed and recognized by the federal government based on what's in the 1999 Constitution that should enjoy support. And since the Kolade Alabi is not from any of this local government, he should not chair an association of local governments of Nigeria.
You really mentioned about joint account system, JAC. joint local and state account system, where all this money, when they come from the federation account, are put in one account and distributed. So if it is distributed by the JAC, it is not specifically meant for a particular local government. So if anybody is saying that the money are supposed to be given to the 20 local government, it is wrong, because the Constitution gives the authority to the JAC to distribute.
So all right, I would like to actually have your views, because I can see you smiling here. What's your view on these issues that has actually led to this intractable crisis in Algon?
Just like the BOT chairman earlier mentioned, as far as I am concerned, Algon is one, because we are guided by a constitution. That's the Algon constitution. And just what BOT said, the Nigerian constitution, as amended, gave the State House of Assembly the right on administration, financial aspects, and anything that concerns local government structure. The Lagos State House of Assembly created these development areas.
Which was a subject that led to a lot of bickering, especially under the Obasanjo presidency, and this had to end up in court.
Exactly.
So
and it reached up to Supreme Court, and the Supreme Court gave judgment in favor of Lagos State government. And come back to Algon Constitution. Algon Constitution clearly states that before you become a member of NEC at the national, you must be the chairman of Algon of your state.
That's the National Executive Committee of Algon.
Yes. And Kolade Alabi was duly elected from Lagos to come and represent Lagos local government and LCDs at the national level.
Are you aware of a court judgment by Justice I.E. Eko, who said that he was issuing a restraining order on Kolade Alabi-led faction and stopped him from parading himself alongside officers as officers of Algon, and he directed that an interim management committee be inaugurated for Algon, which is what has led to Maje taking over as the interim head of Algon.
Very good. Maje went to court to stop the General Assembly, which was conducted on the 24th of March
2021.
And he went to court to obtain expert order, which was granted him 29th for an action that already took place. And there was never, after that one, any judgment that said Kolade Alabi, and it was in that General Assembly that Kolade Alabi was re-elected to pilot the affairs of
okay, and I can see that you are itching to actually respond to that question.
Yes, you're talking about the expert motion obtained by Maje Group. The expert motion was obtained to stop the 24th of March 2021 General Assembly which was not given until 29th of March, after the
General Assembly had taken place.
But be that as it may, on the 20th of December 2021, that order was vacated and the matter was struck out. And it was in favor of Alabi Group. There was even another judgment, that says that this is a judgment of 29th of March 2, which said Alabi's presidency is authentic while that of Maje is illegal. All because in the Algon Constitution, there's nothing like interim management committee. So anything
the board of trustees, you are the chairman of the board of trustees,
yes.
and that's why I started by saying you are supposed to be like the soul of the organization to give direction and all of that. What have you done in all of this? Because you should have taken control so that there won't be an interim management committee.
Now, the issue is that the conscience says when there's a vacuum, the board will come in and take over until another election is conducted. The board should take over as transition. In transition, like not as in transition, not as a management caretaker. Are you following? So in this matter, there was no vacancy, there was no vacuum, so there's no reason for the board to come in and take over. But in view of the fact that we have a decision group in that of Maje group, I as the chairman and my members have come in to let Maje see reasons why he should cooperate with the national body, because Maje, if you look at Maje is the chairman of Suleja local government. Maje is not the chairman of Niger Algon. And like it is stated in our constitution, you can only be the chairman of Algon of your state to be eligible to contest any position at the national level. So like, for example, in the case of Alabi is the chairman of Algon Lagos State. That was what gave him the mandate, the authority to come and contest for a national office, which is the presidency that he was given by the popular demand of all the NEC members in the country. So Maje is not a NEC member. He's not the chairman of Niger State. So Maje is a member, is an honorary member of Algon. If Maje wants to contest to become a national officer, he must first of all become the chairman of his own state, which is Niger State, which never happened. But like I said, why the board was trying to mediate,
very quickly, because
the board was trying to mediate when we had this problem, just to let Majesty reason that you are doing illegal things. Because IMC is an aberration to Algon Constitution. IMC is a nullity.
Yeah, but there are several groups who have also identified with that IMC in your association. But we'll continue all of this after the break.
They are being misled.
Just hold on. You're still watching the Arise interview. Plenty more still ahead. Stay with us. Welcome back to the Arise interview. I'm Sumner Sambo. As you've been hearing here on the show, there's a crisis brewing in the Association of Local Governments in Nigeria. The elected national president, Kolade Alabi, says he was duly elected and sworn in as leader of the group, but his leadership is being challenged by the interim management committee led by Abdullahi Maji. Both groups now lay claims to the Algon presidency. And I still have in the studio with me Algon officials, Honorable Odunayo Ategbero, who is the chairman of the board of trustees of Algon, and Honorable Aminu Muazu Maifata, who is also a member and a local government chairman. And I come to you specifically on why other groups or individual local government chairmen are identifying with the Abdullahi Maje committee if they don't believe that he's actually doing the right thing. Why is Algon split?
You know, all these things Honorable Maje has been parading is always centering around selfish interest. Selfish interest in the sense that on the assumption of presidency of Algon by Honorable Kolade Alabi, he stopped so many things.
Like what?
Like awarding of contracts indiscriminately, shady deals to deduct local government monies at source, and then above all, not agreeing to deductions that for contracts not executed before his coming on board. Maje is somebody, and he's just about out of 36 states and FCT, only, I can say, only 3 people I saw him with. That's the
identify with IMC.
Yes.
And I want to ask, do you think that this is all linked to the issues of, that we have with the issues of the Paris Club reforms and all of that? Some persons trying to lay claims to funds that belong to local governments, saying that certain contracts were executed in the name of local governments, especially when it has to do with the $419 million US that divided governors, where the Attorney General of the Federation has said that the monies should be paid, and some state governors have said that the money should not be paid, and all of that. Is it linked to all of this? That's the reason why Algon has been split into two.
No, that issue.
May I answer that question?
Okay, well, can just choose
as far as the issue of Paris Club money, $418 million US is concerned, Alabi's presidency has nothing to do with it. Because
but there were contracts given by Algon for digging of boreholes in different parts, which the governors are saying that could not be verified.
Let me even tell you that Alabi's government was against all these kind of payments. So that would not have pitched Alabi's government against Maje. For example, when Alabi is trying to stop corruption, Maje, who called himself IMC chairman, signed a letter to the presidency as Algon president, not as Algon IMC now. He signed a letter to the presidency asking the presidency to pay money running into billions of dollars to a contractor without executing that contract. That was Maje that was fighting the system.
Yeah, that issue has divided governors with the presidency. So you can imagine that and all
if Maje, who now, with that letter itself, Maje impersonated the presidency of Algon because he was calling himself IMC chairman. But when he wanted to shortchange local government by asking presidency to pay a contract that was not executed, he signed as Algon president. So what was Kolade Alabi's group doing? Did you, as Board of Trustees chairman, write the Economic and Financial Crimes Commission, calling the attention to these issues? We were able to intercept such letter, and we are working on it with the presidency. At the appropriate time, that particular letter will be forwarded to the FCC because he has no right, as IMC chairman, the way he called himself, to sign as president of Algon, misleading the presidency, the government of Nigeria, to approve the payment of some money for a contract that was not done. So at the appropriate, we are taking that up with the authority. After that one is established, because we have the letter he signed, misleading the government to pay, and he collected rebates. It was like he was bribed.
As it stands right now,
so the issue is that
you are the conscience as the Board of Trustees chairman. You are supposed to speak for both groups.
That is why
both groups, if you identify them, because Abdullah Maje is not here to defend himself.
What I'm saying, he can come here to defend himself if he wants.
Yes,
to.
but
because he
as
has
Board of Trustees chairman, Nigerians will be expecting you in your capacity to be able to unite. I've done that severally
to
stop these approvals.
I've done my best. The Board of Trustees, of which I'm the chairman, have done our best in ensuring that we talk to Maje to see reasons. Personally, I have invited Maje to talk to him to see reasons that you have potential as a young man. You can become Algon president in a legitimate form, not in this form. Most of the time, he will say he has agreed, but immediately he leaves. He will continue to do another thing. And what he is doing by that is misleading the public. He's extorting money from everybody.
Well, he's actually not here to defend himself. Just before you comment,
clarifications.
Okay, go ahead.
This issue of boreholes you are talking about and the money that the NGF is against it.
Yes.
We at NEC, representing the 36 states, excluding Kogi and Ebonyi and one other one. We wrote a petition to the president from our various local government councils against this deduction, because we all went around all our various local government areas. No any borehole was executed.
So the projects were not executed?
Were not executed at all. But the contracts were dated back before we even, before Kolade Alabi.
So in other words, you actually support the non-payment of this money to both the contractors and the lawyers involved. And
yes, we even went to court ourselves. And then the issue of Maje, why I said corruption is there just for a selfish interest. Just on the 27th of August 2021, Honorable Maje wrote a letter to the President asking implementation and approval for payment for nationwide agricultural revolutionary project in 774 local government pre and post COVID-19, seeking for about 3.1 billion naira to be deducted from local government.
Did you write a counter letter to that effect?
Good.
Did you report the issue to your board of trustees?
We didn't hear this until when it reached Ministry of Finance. Fortunately, we got to know about it and we quickly wrote to them and stopped that payment.
Now,
Till date, we stopped it.
Why
This money has not been.
Why is the issue of Algon actually being linked to the issue of corruption? Why is it a lot of Nigerians are actually so sad that the local government system in Nigeria doesn't seem to be working? It looks like the infighting is usually on how to go get funds. The governors want to get your funds. You yourself, as local government chairman, want to get funds. And the people who you're elected to serve are actually not feeling the impact of elected local government chairman.
Very good question. That was why, since Kolade Alabi took over the mantle of leadership, we said no more contract at all. Algon is not a contract awarding organization. If you want to come to Algon, come with a proposal that will have positive impact to the people at the grassroots. Come with intervention that the people at the grassroots will feel the impact and will have direct change in their positive changes in their day-to-day activities.
Well, for this crisis to have continued up to this extent, isn't it because there are just some slush funds in Algon that has made a lot of people to pick huge interest in this? Do you think that there's also political interference by governors to divide your association?
First and foremost, I don't think there's any slush in Algon. I have been in Algon for a long time.
Well, you're always in the news for giving out contracts. In
you see, that is what we are stopping. We are saying that Algon is not a contract awarding institution. If you want to do anything with Algon, bring interventions from maybe national bodies that will impact positively on the people. Because Algon is to serve the grassroots people. Our people are so many, 80% or more than that of our people reside in the local government, and they need to be brought out of poverty. And it is not by distributing money, it's by bringing in programs and projects that will impact directly on them. That's number one. Number two.
Just hold on, I'll have to cut you short here. When we come back, you'll continue that conversation immediately. You're still watching the Arise interview. Plenty more still ahead. Stay with us. Welcome back to the Arise interview. I'm Sumner Sambo, and we've been discussing the local government system in Nigeria and the crisis in the Association of Local Governments of Nigeria. I have here in the studio Honorable Odunayo Ategbero, who is the chairman of the Board of Trustees of the Association of Local Governments of Nigeria, and Honorable Aminu Muazu Maifata, who is the Deputy National President of Algon. And just before I interrupted you before the break, you were talking about the issues regarding, how the local government system should not be interfered with. And I was asking, is there any chance that governors are also interested in dividing your association so as to ensure that you're not united to continue to pursue the aspirations of this local government organization? Because we've seen several local governments being sacked despite Supreme Court judgment. The Supreme Court insists that local government chairmen and elected executives should be allowed to serve their tenure out. But you still see some local government chairmen still being pushed aside, arbitrarily being dissolved. And the Attorney General of the Federation, Abubakar Malami, had to write to the state governors to stop them from dissolving duly elected local government chairmen. What do you make of all of this?
Yeah, as far as I'm concerned, I don't believe that governors or any governor is interested in dividing Algon. That's number one. Number two, as for a democratically elected local government system, there has been a tremendous improvement from what it used to be in the past. In the past, there were some states that didn't conduct election for 8 years. But now, majority of our governors, almost 80–85%, are now running democratically elected local governments, because they know that caretaker arrangement is not good for the system. They know it is illegal. That is why if you see some of them hijacking it or sacking elected governors, when they go to court, they always win. So the governors are not, they are equally part of us. They come from one local government to the other. They know that the closest government to the grassroots is the local government. And more than 90% of our people reside in the local government. So when the local government is developed, the whole country is developed. So the issue we are having now is a constitutional issue where autonomy has not been granted to local government.
Yeah,
and that is being pursued.
Some people have said that there shouldn't be autonomy granted to it because they believe that the local government system should be left to the states to determine, not to the federal. There shouldn't be 3 tiers of government. It should just be the federal and the states, and then the states should be allowed to create as many local governments.
That is not going to be in the interest of the populace. That's not going to be in the interest of the masses, because the state government as a government is too far to the people at the grassroots. Like I said, majority of our people reside in the grassroots. So they need a government that will be closer, that can take care of their needs and challenges.
All right. Shouldn't the state governors be allowed to create as many local governments as they want? A lot of Nigerians are asking that this provision of having 774 local governments in the constitution should be expunged, and then we just have the federal and state as 2 tiers of government, while the states are allowed to actually create as many local governments as they want to serve their people. What's your view on that?
No, even the Nigerian Constitution, 1999 Constitution, has amended, clearly states how more local government councils or more states can be created. So I think there is no any ambiguity there.
So why haven't we had more local governments being added into the Constitution?
The Constitution is still undergoing amendment process.
Since 1999, we haven't had a single local government being added into the Constitution.
Yes, but with this present National Assembly, we have that conviction in us that the Constitution will be amended, and all these things will be a thing of the past, because we were there with them, just like under this present leadership of Algon with Honorable Kolade Alabi. The first thing he started doing is to extend hands of friendship, first to the governorship, to the Nigerian Governors Forum, and to the National Assembly, and to various states assemblies in all the states of the Federation. And this has really started yielding results, which even led to so many states conducting local government elections. Now we can beat our chest and say there are more elected local government council chairmen.
Yeah, but how about the issues of finances, where the funds that are meant for local governments are still being hijacked by most of these state governors, and it's become difficult for local governments to provide the services. So most times in localities, people are looking up to the president in Abuja to provide even water services, basic roads for them. And this has forced even the federal lawmakers, who are supposed to be, putting all their efforts in bringing laws in Abuja, to be engaged in constituency projects and providing services that local government should have been providing. Are you not worried as a local government chairman that you're not being given the right funds to do your job? Or the problem is that you don't generate ideas to bring revenues to help your local councils yourself?
Actually, there are states that state governors dictate how these resources are being utilized. But there are so many states that allow local government councils financial autonomy to administer and execute projects, and even add the 10% that Jack says the 10% IGR of the state governments should be added. I am very lucky to come from such a state, Nasarawa State. My governor doesn't interfere in what we do. Once the money comes from FAC, the local government chairman, being the JAC members, decides how these funds are being allocated. And we are free to execute our projects. And this is obtainable in so many states in Nigeria. But to be fair, there are states, especially in the northern part of the country, that this interference is so open.
Yeah, and the issue of joint states and local government account has always been there. President Buhari has tried his best to provide a safe landing for you local governments through financial autonomy so that you get your funds directly. But there just seems to still be this interference by governors. How do we resolve that issue of you getting your funds directly? And what are you doing yourself to boost your own IGR without depending on the state or federal?
The solution to this. You see, this matter of joint account is a constitutional matter. The solution to this is to amend the constitution and grant autonomy, full autonomy, to local government system. And I'm aware that the National Assembly is doing that. You know, the problem we have with a local government, because they have done their own best at the National Assembly, they have done, open debate by the public.
Public hearing.
Public hearing, and they have, the public is favorably disposed to local government autonomy. But the problem we are having is that for any local government autonomy to fly, you must have 2/3 concurrence of the 2/3 of the state houses of assembly. That's where the impediment is.
And those state houses of assembly have been controlled by governors.
In most cases, most of these state houses of assembly are the extension of the governor's office in most cases, because they are being controlled by the governors. But I want to believe that there are some governors now, even this present crop of governors we have, there are some of them that are really disposed favorably to having local government autonomy. Because if the money passes through, let me even tell you, the constitution itself was not being implemented the way it should be implemented. The JAC that was asked to take in the money and give to the does not say the money should be hijacked. The purpose of that is to ask the state government to add 10% of the IGR before they give to the local government. They don't say.
Yeah, but the governors are also accusing some of you local government chairmen as being redundant. Some of you just live in the cities, you don't live in the local governments where you were elected. And once you collect your monies, you go share it, and then you disappear from the local council headquarters.
I beg to disagree.
And then apart from that, some of you are employing several people into the local councils, and the budgets of the local governments are just so overbloated because you have lots of people who don't do anything. They just come on payday, collect their monies, and then run away.
Maybe that was in the early part of this democracy. But as of today, you have competent people who can manage a local government system. You have retired bankers, you have professors, you have retired permanent secretary. So in the local government, you have personnel that are qualified. So when you are saying some local governments are being redundant, I don't agree. But because when money is not available, you cannot do anything. When your money is being kept by somebody and your people are asking you to come and execute projects, how do you do that? But when the resources are given, let it be given now. We have watchdogs, we have ICPC, we have EFCC. Let the money first of all be released to the local government system. Any local government chairman that mismanage or fails to do what is right should be apprehended.
And as a local government chairman yourself, what do you do when you have thousands of persons coming to you to give you to ask for jobs and all of that? Every now and then, that sometimes it's difficult for you because of the lean resources you have to provide these jobs. Have you thought of partnership with the private sector? What are you doing to improve your internally generated revenues?
First of all, you mentioned, you made a statement about overbloated workforce. It is true in some states, my state too. And most of these staff were recruited whenever there was a vacuum of elected local government council chairmen. The interim, the IMCs or the TMs, the caretaker committees, they always took that advantage to overbloat the wage bill. But no any sensible elected local government council chairman will come and overbloat his staff or wage bill, because one, as an elected chairman, you made so many promises to the people at the grassroots. You provide that, you do that, you do that, you do that, to improve their livelihood. But this is one factor.
Yeah, and so how do you handle that? Because I mean, we've seen local government chairmen also not being prudent with their resources. That's why I said that some of them live in the cities and leave their local government. They only show up on the days that they have allocation, and when they come, I mean, so even we've seen videos of in the northern part of the country, you see some local government chairmen, they will bring their monies in bulk in cash and divide them. You see 200 naira being given to people who queue up, you know, and once they finish giving those monies, they'll disappear into thin air until the next allocation from Abuja comes. So how do you improve your IGR?
It is very unfortunate that some local government council chairmen do things like that. But any person that thinks rightly cannot indulge in such an act. You must have to work out a way. Like as a local government council chairman, if you come to me looking for an employment, first of all, I will look into what revenue comes into the coffers of the council. Can this revenue accommodate more employment? Not at the expense of providing basic amenities and other social services to the people. If it can't, I will tell you straight to your face, no. But I will do one thing. I will create a kind of skills acquisition, give them people that are ready startup packs, bring the youth and the vulnerable in a cluster so that they can be not to look for employment, but they can also be employers
through an empowerment scheme.
And I source out. There are so many intervention agencies that are ready to help the people at the grassroots. They don't want to go through the state or to the federal government. They want to, the targeted people to benefit. They are there. So we always go out to source such funds.
Well, we must thank you so much, Honorable Aminu Muazu Maifata, the Deputy National President, Association of Local Governments of Nigeria, and Honorable Odunayo Ategbero, who is the Chairman Board of Trustees of Algon. Thank you for joining us on the show to take a critical look at the local government system in Nigeria and the Algon intractable crisis.